Welcome to Health Coach for Women. Intentional living for more happiness and fulfillment in your everyday life with your host, Marsha Roopchand-Walker. Join Marsha as she shares her own personal wellness journey, as well as stories from our guests that will enlighten and inspire you to move towards better health and happiness. Now, here's your host, Marsha Roopchand-Walker.
Hello, and thank you for joining me on another episode of Health Coach for Women. Today, I want to talk to you about nourishing. Nourishing not just the body, right? And not nourishing the mind, but nourishing the spirit. How can we nourish the spirit? There's different ways that, everything in our lives, that needs nourishing, right? Everything needs to be not necessarily a balance, but need to be tended to, needs to be catered to, and doesn't need to be ignored, and it shouldn't be ignored. Because when they are ignored and when they are suppressed, it manifests in different ways, right? And so it'll manifest in different ways, just like when our body is not being tended to, it manifests itself in illness, right? So we definitely want to pay close attention, not only to our bodies, but our mental, right? As well as spiritual aspects of ourselves. So how do we do that? How do we nourish our spiritual wellness? How do we make sure that we are okay, not just emotionally or physically? How do we do that? So we need to connect. We need to connect with ourselves. We need to connect with that higher power, whatever you believe. I believe in God. And so we need to find a way to nourish and grow in our spirituality. And so for me, one way of doing that is by praying. Another way that I do that is by being out in nature, and I feel connected. So many of you may have experienced it or may not have experienced it, but it does something for you on a mental level. It calms you. It sort of keeps you grounded, so to speak. For me, I'm grounded when I'm in nature. I'm connected to everything that is around me. And it's important to really nourish our spirit. So whatever your faith, whatever you believe, you need to nourish that. You need to, do more to build and strengthen your spirituality. And, if for those of you who may not know, there is a spiritual warfare that exists. There is a spiritual warfare that is happening right now with everything that is going on. So it's very, very important to really keep our mental state in a state of well-being, and along with the spirit, because what that does is, and see how everything is connected, what that does is when we feel broken or down mentally, it breaks your spirit, right? And you don't have the energy, and you don't have the desire to maybe want to work out. You don't have that desire to want to do those things. So it's very important that we find a way to keep our spiritual, all of them actually, the mental, spiritual, physical, emotional, to keep all of those things in harmony and stay nourished and connected with ourselves, and stay strong in our faith in what we believe, because it's what we need right now to keep us sane, to keep us together, to keep us in a state of where we can manage, right? We may not be happy with what's happening right now. We may not be happy with everything that's going on with the whole mask situation and the COVID. And they're saying that, it's going to increase now with the cold weather. Do not operate from a place of fear. I can't stress this. I may have said this pretty much on every episode. I don't want you to operate from a place of fear. And it's from that place where you are staying stuck. So if you have to turn off the news, do so. If you have to turn off the news, do so. If you have to take a break from social media, do so. You just have to unplug from those things. I'm not saying that you shouldn't know what's going on in your community, right? It's important to know some of the things that's happening around you in your community, right? Yes, but to stay watching the news 24/7, it dampens not only the mindset, your spirit. It just put this heaviness on you. And so we have to break free from that. We have to break free from that because, like I said, the spiritual warfare, it exists and it's happening right now. And that is why so many people around the world right now, so many people are waking up to see what really is and what the illusion is. So when I say that, some people may be wondering, okay, well, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by the illusion? Well, everything that appears to you, everything that you see in front of you, everything is not always real. Excuse me. And so what I mean by that is that you have to look at the sources of where you get your information from. Okay, you have to look at the sources of where you're getting your information from and really look at it. Really look at the things that's presented to you on mainstream media. The majority of it is all negative. It's all things that just dampens your spirit. And it's all intentional. And believe it or not, it's intentional to put that fear in you. Right? It's intentional for you to want to, for you to wear your mask. And I'm not telling anybody whether they should wear it or not wear it. But it's for you to put that fear in you, right? And so that you're operating from a place of fear instead of from a place of love. And so now you're walking around fearful. You're walking around and, you're afraid. And you're saying, okay, well, what's going to happen? And you're worrying about tomorrow and you're worrying about what's going to happen. And, and if the epidemic, and if they make it, what if they shut down the state? What about my job? I'm not saying that these things aren't important. Yes, your job is your livelihood, right? But we cannot focus on that. We need to focus on the present moment of today, and living in the now, living in the present moment of today. Okay, so you need to find things to nourish your spirit. And so that if it's taking a walk in nature, with your mask, if you must do so, you do so. Whatever you feel is best for you, do so. You take your walk in nature. You can't stop living. People, you can't stop living your life and finding that joy and that sweet spot and that happiness. If you want to go sit in a park and read a favorite book or listen to your favorite, person, whoever you love to listen to, do that. If it's connecting with your family, give somebody a phone call. Hey, I'm thinking about you today. Whatever it is, we can't stay stuck in this place of doom and gloom, worrying about tomorrow. Because first of all, none of us is promised tomorrow anyway. None of us is promised tomorrow. None of us is guaranteed that we are going to go to bed tonight and wake up in the morning. None of us is guaranteed that. So you have to live each moment as if it's your last. You have to live in the present moment and forget about yesterday. Yesterday is gone. Today's a new day. Focus on today. Focus on what's present right now. Be present right now. Take a deep breath. Take a couple of deep breaths. You're feeling stressed and you're feeling overwhelmed. Take a time and pause and just be in the moment. Be in the moment of the present moment of here and now, today. And it's not that hard as you may think that it is. You just have to draw your attention on that. And one way of doing that is just doing some quiet, deep breathing, taking deep breaths and appreciating it. Taking in that deep breath and releasing it, right? Doing something like that. And we can continue to nourish our spirit by connecting, right? Self-reflection is always good. I say that all the time. Self-reflection is always good, right? And so don't judge yourself harshly on your imperfections. No one cares about your imperfections but you, because none of us is perfect. So each day we strive to be better and do better. It's not about perfection. It's about just doing better and being better and nourishing ourselves and being nourished and taking care of our bodies, taking care of our emotional wellness. And if you don't have that support, sometimes it becomes challenging if you don't have that support. And so you're looking for that connection, right? To be connected emotionally. Well, find an outlet. Find something to do. Immerse in you. Immerse in yourself with doing what you need to do. Immerse in your faith. Reading your Bible, your Quran, your Torah, whatever it is that your spiritual, whatever it is for you. Connect with your spirituality, your faith, being connected to the higher power, the creator, and we are all connected. And this is one thing that I like for you to remember, is that although we may look differently, share different cultures and backgrounds, we're all one, we're all connected. We all came from the same being, the same creator, whatever name you choose to call it. And so it's important that we really be in tune, right? And be aware and pay attention and to see the beauty. And it's always important to remember to have that gratitude. So it's important because that's part of your spiritual wellness, right? And that's part of your overall wellness, is having an appreciation and showing gratitude. And research has shown that there's people who don't even have a faith or religion or anything like that, and may have possibly even be atheists. I remember reading an article on that when they practiced gratitude, when they practiced the attitude of gratitude, there was so much, like, the results for them was rewarding. Like, they saw improvement, in their overall wellness. There was improvement in that just by doing that one thing of practicing gratitude. So when you wake up in the morning, just thank you, thank you. A simple thing as thank you. So it's very important for you to see and know that everybody and everything. Some people don't have your best interests at heart. And with that being said, you have to look out for you, right? You have to look out for you. You have to make yourself first. When you're on the airplane and you're taking a flight somewhere and the stewardess is going over all of the procedures on safety, what is the thing that they tell you to do first before donning your mask, before putting on your mask, before helping someone else? They tell you, you put your mask on first, and then you go and help someone else. Then you help someone else. You put your mask on first. So it's very important that we take care of ourselves and we nourish ourselves and we do the things that's important and nourish our spirit, because that is what's going to keep us staying in a place of calm, in a place of not operating from fear, but you focus more on from a place of love and gratitude. And so it's very important. And we have to be mindful. Okay, we have to be mindful of, again, where we get our information, what we're watching on television, and listening to who we are being around, right? Because you have people who are just energy vampires, right? So you have people who will just drain your energy. And so you have to protect yourself. You have to protect yourself, and because it can wear you down. And so you don't want to be surrounded by that type of energy. You don't want to be surrounded by people who drain your energy, or things that's draining your energy, such as like the news, or paying attention to a lot of stuff on social media, right? And I don't know for the older people, but I know for the younger people, they live off of social media, and people have these personas or this image that they put out there on social media, Instagram or Facebook, like their life is so great, and really behind closed doors it isn't. So don't be caught up by that. Don't be caught up, and that is what I'm to as the illusion. So everything that we see that's on social media or mainstream media, everything that we see is not always real. And so that is what I mean by that. Don't let someone else's life, because it looks great on the outside, don't let that fool you to think, oh, their life is so great, and wishing you had what someone else had. No, you don't know their story, and you don't know what's going on behind closed doors. So that's not for you to be concerned about. Be concerned and focused on you and your life and your well-being, your health, your spirituality, is nourishing your own needs for you. And don't dwell on the negativity. Don't dwell and operate from fear, because again, that is what holds us back and keep us stuck. We cannot focus on those things. You have to find an outlet, a way to channel when you're feeling like you're not that great, like sometimes your spirit is just down, you don't have the energy, it's just not there. That happens, right? We all have days like that, like, oh, you just feel blah. That's normal. It's okay to feel that, but you don't want to stay stuck there in that place. You don't want to remain in that place. So you have to find and set your anchors, things that you feel connected with, and it's going to keep you grounded and hold you, and strengthen you. I would say that's something that strengthens you. So reading, maybe getting more in tune with your faith, getting more in tune with your spirituality, and a part of that is being good and kind to other people, right? And learning to forgive, being forgiven. Forgiving someone for their misconduct, their rudeness, right? Their unappreciativeness, their ingratitude. Forgive them for that, right? Because again, we're all human. And so we have to move forward for our own well-being, for ourselves, and not for someone else, but you're doing it mostly and mainly for you, because your spiritual wellness, your emotional wellness, physical, mental, mind, body, spirit, all of it, financial, emotional, all of it plays a part in your overall well-being. And so we have to remember that other people's issues are not our own. And sometimes we want to do for everyone and be there for everyone when we can't. You can only spread yourself but so far. And it's okay to be that support system. Yeah, everyone needs support at some times. But when it comes to a point where it's truly draining your energy, you may have to take a moment and say, oh, okay, it's a little too much right now. I have to just take a moment for me, and I have to separate myself from that, for that right now, because it's becoming too much. And like I said, you have people who love to operate from a place of that negative energy, that negative vibration. You can't surround yourself with that. Or you have people who's just, they stay in drama. Everywhere they go, there's drama. Everywhere they go, there's an issue they encounter with someone. There's always an issue. There's always something going on. And so people like that, you just have to really avoid them. And you can love them from a distance, and that's it. And it's so important. I mean, it's so important. Like I said, I can go deeper on a lot of things, but for the sake of time, I'm not going to do that. But I want you to know that your wellness, your happiness, your health is vital. And I can't stress that enough, that your health and your wellness is vital. I mean, if you're not there mentally, physically, spiritually, if you're not there, if you're not operating from 100%, how can you be there for someone else? How can you be there to give for someone else? How could you be able to do that? You can't operate from an empty cup. What happens when you run out of gas when you're driving, right? That gas light is coming on. It's on E. Same thing. You have to nourish yourself. You have to find those things that you feel connected to. For me, like I mentioned before, praying. And one thing that I really enjoy is to being out in nature, just that fresh air, blowing, hitting my face, and the sound of the trees, the wind blowing. And now with the fall colors, if you live in a place like where there's fall, the colors of the trees. I mean, it's just beautiful to watch. And the birds, the birds are still out and they're singing. And the squirrels, I'm just taking it all in and appreciating every moment of it, every moment that I'm there and I'm out in nature and I'm appreciating it, And someone asked me, I said, hey, you don't have your stick? Where's your stick? Matter of fact, it was two people that asked me, you don't have a stick? You got to be careful out here. I don't know. For me, I guess I'm in my own world. I'm not even thinking about that. Like, I'm not even I'm aware of my surroundings. Don't get me wrong. I'm aware of my surroundings. But for me, I'm saying to myself, I'm like, that was not even in my mind, right? So that's not even, when I'm out in nature, I'm just connecting. I'm just feeling grounded and so at peace. And I'm feeling so at peace and calm. I'm not thinking about oh, I need a stick for something, or, fighting off any wild animals or some person who may be, some person that's out there that's, crazy or whatever. And, I'm not thinking about that. So I don't know, maybe I should get a stick. I just never thought about it. And I guess for me, I just don't operate from that place of fear, but I guess it's good to be safe, but I don't know. I've just never did it. Just never felt I had the need, because I always feel like I'm protected anyway. I'm protected. So whatever is going to happen is going to happen. But I'm walking in a place from not out of fear, but I'm walking out in the park, and I'm walking out from a place of just love and peace. So I'm not worried about if something's going to attack me, or if some stranger's going to, hurt me, or I'm just, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Share your comments, share your thoughts. Let me know. I don't know. I just choose not to just operate from fear. And so I don't think about those things, but I am always aware of my surroundings. So if I'm walking and I can hear somebody behind me, I'm going to turn around and look. And when I'm walking, I don't place anything in my ears where it's so loud that I can't hear what's around me. So I'm always in that place of where I need to hear and at least see what's going on. And so that's what you should do too. So when you're out in nature, don't, walking and being clueless and have the music loud up. You need to hear. You still need to be safe. You just have one ear in, or have the volume down where you can still hear and pay attention to your surroundings. So I guess that was my little safety tip for today. But walking with a stick, I don't know. I don't know. But that is basically all I have for you today. I felt it was important for you to talk about that, to know that spiritual warfare does exist. There are energy vampires. There are people who want to see you living out of fear, and they're feeding off of your fear. People in the powers that be that wants to live off of fear. And do you think the pharmaceutical companies, I know this is only a 30-minute show and my time is almost up. Do you think the pharmaceutical companies are going broke right now? Do you think Amazon is going broke right now? Do you think Zoom is broke right now? These people are making money. 5G technology, do you think, because now the demand for the technology is even greater now because of this whole pandemic situation. So Walmart, all these big major companies, they're benefiting a lot. And I'm not saying anything to be negative about it all. I'm just showing you to tell you that these companies, even like I'll use an example, Big Pharma, they're out there making a lot of money right now because more people are relying on medication for their depression and anxiety. They're relying on that right now. They're relying on you being in fear and being stuck and depressed and stressed and feeling anxiety and feeling suicidal. They are making a lot of money off of people right now. And so please, 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 let's operate from a place of fear. And one simple way to start is just by waking up in the morning and saying thank you. Taking 3 nice deep breaths and saying thank you. Thank you for today. And today I am present. Today I am present. And I am no longer operating from a place of fear. And I want you to say that. I want you to say that if you're out there and you're feeling stressed and depressed and worried and anxious and all of that stuff, I want you, starting from today, I want you to just say thank you. Take 3 deep breaths and say thank you. And I want you to do that 3 times and say thank you. And then I want you to say, today I am no longer operating from a place of fear. but operating from a place of love. And so with that, my friends, I will see you next time, or shall I say, speak with you next time. Thank you for listening in. Bye for now.
Thank you so much for listening to Health Coach for Women with your host, Marsha Roopchand-Walker. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please be sure to rate, subscribe, and review on your preferred podcast listening platform. We really appreciate that effort. Until next time.